How you doing today, folks? Welcome to Just Conversations, No Interviews, Season 3, Episode 8. Today I have the great Chauncey Presley with one S. When you see him in the streets, it's one S. I want to talk about his journey in youth sports. He had the pleasure of coaching his sons. He also was a part, I want to say the inception of the Aztecs, but he was right near the very beginning of the Aztecs. So he has a wonderful story, and we're going to talk about some of the highlights he's seen in youth sports and some of the lowlights he's seen in youth sports. We're also going to just talk about what it's like of being a father, raising children in Philadelphia. We're just going to have a good conversation. So buckle up, folks. We're going to go for a ride. And we have over a 20-year relationship, so it should be a good interview, a good conversation. Woohoo! How we doing today, sir?
I'm good, Reef. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. Thank you for making it today, man. It took me about 8 months to get you here.
You mentioned it a while ago.
Yeah, I had to talk to his agent. I had to get an NDA. You know what I mean? It was hard getting him here, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you showed up, man.
Finally.
Yeah. So let's talk through your journey at Philadelphia. Where do you go to school at?
Well, you mean like high school? Or
we can start whatever school you want to start at.
Beginning,
Yeah.
I was a private school kid up until about fifth grade.
Okay.
And family situations, wasn't able to do the private school thing. I was forced to go to public school almost by circumstances.
Okay.
And I wound up in Roberto Clemente. First year in public school.
Did you speak Spanish?
Not at all. I failed fifth grade with straight Fs.
Wow. So hold on. You went from, so what type of grades you got in private school?
Private school was cool. Private school, you know what I mean? I was an average student, probably A's, B's, C's, you know what I mean?
And then you get the Roberto Clemente.
Roberto Clemente, I was just thrown in the wild. Basically,
so you had to adapt too?
Had to adapt fast.
Had to adapt fast.
So
graffiti in the bathroom.
Man, graffiti in the bathroom, kids fighting teachers, all types of stuff. Talking about teacher knowing karate, like it was crazy. This is not the new Roberto Clemente.
Yeah,
we
the
talking
old
about,
one. Yeah, the old
we
one.
talking about the pantyhose factory.
Yeah, the sprinklers in the yard.
The pantyhose factory of Roberto Clemente. So it was wild. Following year, I get school bussed out the Northeast.
Okay.
And that was the best thing my mom ever did, because my mom, she never played she wasn't playing no neighborhood school. She
okay.
was like,
I never went to neighborhood school neither.
You ain't going to cook.
Yeah,
you ain't going to, you know what I mean? You ain't going to the neighborhood school. She never played that. So I get bussed out Northeast. I go to J. Hampton Moore, fifth grade, which is actually where I met his mom at.
Oh wow! You met in fifth grade.
In fifth grade. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So following from there, I went to Woodrow Wilson Middle School.
I remember Wilson right across the street from Northeast.
And then I went to Northeast.
That's crazy.
What I mean? So that was my journey in the public school situation, which was cool because it actually opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay. So did you graduate high school?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Graduated high school, 96. Had my first child in 96.
Okay, so you graduated, then you graduated.
No,
You graduated school, then went to straight adulthood.
Absolutely, because he was born in March. Well, here you go, I got a story. He was born in March. I got kicked out of high school 3 days after he was born. Maybe the day after he was born.
Dang, what the hell?
Because I played football, ninth grade, 10th grade. I'm like, I ain't feeling football.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm chasing chicks. I'm going to go get on the charter bus where all the girls at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, football ain't it. And that was my first time playing football.
Okay.
Because I was never able to play youth football because it was either Allenby Eagles or Lehigh Chiefs, which was down North Philly.
Okay.
My family ain't drive. They like, no, street lights on. We ain't doing no football. You know what I mean? You know how it is back in the day. Back in the day, it was like, no, the street lights on. We ain't doing football. You know what I mean? We ain't drive. Ain't no practice. No. I would make the team. Made the team for Allenby Eagles. Made the team for Lehigh Chiefs because that's where my family from, down 21st and Lehigh Way.
Okay.
Would make the team down Lehigh Chiefs. Now it's time school back in. No, we ain't going no practice. What practice? Like on some AI type of thing. Practice? Nah. So that was a long story short. So I never really got to play youth sports. I did get to play Allenby Eagles basketball, but I get to Northeast, play football my freshman year. Never tried out for the basketball team because I was a late bloomer. Like I ain't played organized basketball till I was 14
Okay.
for Honor Eagles. So by then I'm like, nah, these dudes like really
They
really
real play
talented.
ball. Yeah,
You know what I
they play
mean?
ball.
Like
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a different level. This ain't playing on the playground. So yeah, go to Northeast, graduate, had my son that March. Like I said, I was playing football earlier in my years, so grades was always fine up until 12th grade. You know, now you coming into your own
Yeah.
as a
F that school. F that
you going
school.
into you coming into your own as a man. So it's like, nah, you cutting school. You got a girlfriend. You always over there. Like, wound up having a child in March of '96.
Okay.
Couldn't miss no more days of English. Now I ain't on the football team. All 3 years I had last period lunch because they thought I was still on the football team. Last period English. I'm used to getting out at a certain time.
Now you got to stay in school all day.
Then I got hold on, but English teacher running to me in the hallway. Ain't you in my 7th period class? If you miss one more day, you ain't graduating. So, long story short, I got suspended for a week. I wound up getting suspended. I ain't even gonna get into the story of why I got suspended, but I got suspended for a week because of the day after my child was born. I was in the hospital the whole night.
Okay.
So I go to school the following day. Something happened. I wound up getting suspended. You know what I mean, for a week. So I'm like, damn. I might as well go the whole extra limit. I wound up getting kicked out. They wound up kicking me out of Northeast.
And the last year, so now how did you graduate?
I wound up graduating from Northeast Prep.
Oh, you had to pay.
Northeast Prep. It was either that or come back to school the following year and graduate in '97.
They got you out of there in 2 months, or you had to take like a semester?
2 months.
Just paid the money for
2 months, basically. 2 months. You pay to get a diploma. Basically, that's what. Because you know what Northeast Prep, you can do 2 years. You could do two grades in 1 year.
Oh, I know. I never went.
Yeah, so that Northeast Prep was sort of like for dropouts.
Okay.
So if you went to Northeast Prep as a freshman, you do a 9th and 10th grade 1 year, and then you doing 11th and 12th 1 year. So you would be graduating at 16.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's how Northeast Prep was. So that was my last. That was it. Or graduated in '97. I couldn't see graduating in '97. I'm not, because like I said, now I'm into my own. I'm doing my thing. No, class of '97, I don't see it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you had a son, '96, and then you having this son. You're trying to figure out how to mentor him, how to keep him out of the riffraff.
Well, you know, that was just totally different to me anyway. Just having a son at 18, you know what I mean? Just having a son at 18 and me coming into my adulthood, if that's what you want to call it at that time, which it really ain't. You know what I mean? Which it really ain't. You still a child at 18. So it was just figuring it out. Like odd job here and there. Wound up working at a title insurance company. And, you know, just figuring out life. You know what I mean? Figuring out life. Worked there for 3 years. So now, worked there for 3 years. And I had my pastor at my church talk to me about getting in the Sheet Metal Workers Union.
Okay.
He got me in the Sheet Metal Workers Union. Now I'm 21. No matter of fact, I didn't get in there until 2001 was when I got accepted and started going to class and everything.
Okay.
Got in there in 2002. So now my son 4, I talked to my older guy on the block, you call him my old head. That's what we call him, right? So my old head, like, nah, you got a son, your son 4, you might as well come out here coach.
Okay.
So I started coaching around 2000. 2 years after that was when I got into Sheet Metal Workers.
All right, so you started coaching in 2000.
I actually started coaching with me looking for things for him to do.
Okay.
For a 4-year-old to do.
Okay.
There was really not too many organizations like taking 4-year-olds.
Okay.
Except for Longcrest. They had the basketball league. The kids play on the 8-foot courts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They could not even barely dribble. They walking, double dribbling. But you know, they playing on the 8-foot courts. They learning the game. You know what I mean? So that was the first thing I coached.
Okay.
Was his team at Longcrest. And I still got my guy in my ear talking about, come on, coach football. Come coach some football, man. Your son could be out here. So he started playing at 5.
Okay.
He started playing football at 5 for the North Philly Aztecs.
Okay. And that was what the first generation team? Second? How many teams had came by the time your son got there? Because I know it's pretty in
I'm
the
not
early.
too sure exactly when the Aztecs got established, but it was probably, it couldn't have been maybe 5-6 years prior. Was when the Aztecs probably got originated.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now now you're coaching youth sports. So now you're getting to see the system of youth sports. How did you first feel about youth sports when you first saw it? Do you think like, hey, this is something that, hey, my son can do this and he could change our lives, or hey, my son can do this and he can get an education?
Nah, that didn't come into play until later, because the first year he number 66. He just happy to be out there. He playing in the dirt. You know what I mean? Rain days, I just want to play in the mud type of thing. You know what I mean? So it didn't really click until he probably was about 8 years old. Maybe 8 years old. And the head coach comes to me and said, yo, because my son he was way mature for his age. Like, he ain't play with toys. He ain't do none of that, like, kiddie type of stuff. So he was very smart. So head coach comes to me and said, yo, I'm gonna put your son at quarterback. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, he was just number 66 a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So with that, and then it was like, with him having a great season at quarterback, it was like, no, he's playing quarterback because he's the smartest kid on the field.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Not more so his athletic ability.
It's
because he was smart and he could remember plays, he could pick it up, he know what everybody's supposed to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's how he wound up playing quarterback, and I'm like, oh, all right. And he had a great season. We might have won a championship that year, actually, with him at quarterback. Okay. And from there, I'm like, you know what I mean? I just start seeing the inner workings of youth football in its entirety at that point. You know what I mean?
Is it crazy behind the scenes, or is like it just at this time, because this is early in it at this point?
At that time it was fun. It was all new to both of us. So we both learning as we going. You know what I mean? I might have been a line coach or something like that, but we was learning as we both was going. You know what I mean? I'm learning the game, he learning the game. Like I said, because I only played my freshman year of organized football, so I knew what I knew from there, and from what my guy, the head coach, was the one who got me in the coaching, the one what he was showing me and teaching me. Okay. So that was basically it. You know what I mean? And from there, he took a liking to it, wound up being good. Now they going to Disney every year.
And did y'all play the Florida teams?
No, matter of fact, we wasn't going to Disney yet. We didn't go to Disney till my youngest started playing. Okay. So during that time, I think I was 24, and I got married. I got engaged to get married. Okay. So, I got engaged to get married, had another child, had my youngest son in 2004. Okay. That's when you was born? 2004? Hold on, I had to check. Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, Pop, you're horrible.
Yeah, no. All right, so 2004. I'm just trying to get my years together and all of that. So now, that's about right. So now she was about, that's when he was 8.
So that's when you started becoming to a man of his own.
You know what I mean? Okay. That's when he was 8 and start being good at the game and stuff like that.
So was he better at football or basketball?
At that point, I couldn't tell. Okay. To be honest with you, because
even going further, which one became his sport of choice? Like,
the sport of choice was always basketball, because that's the first game he fell in love with. Okay. So it was always basketball. He played football because it was the off season of basketball. You know what I mean?
Just staying active.
Yeah, just staying active, keeping him.
So he's like Charlie Ward. He was like
and he was left-handed too. Just keeping him active. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. And my youngest came along, and I'm starting to enjoy coaching. I'm liking it. You know what I mean? So it was a way to keep both of us out of trouble, I guess. You know what I mean?
Okay. So funny thing, folks, is that I want to say 2006 Citizens Bank, was that 2004, 2006, maybe 2004. So when they built a new Philly stadium, I'm a laborer at the time. I walk in there one day, I see my brother, he with the electricians, he over on this side. I see him, he with the sheet metal. I see, man, I seen like, it was like probably one of the most happiest times I've ever been in construction because I seen guys that I knew that was like my age actually in it, and they were in the skilled trades they was making more money than me, and I was happy to see like, I ain't the only one, because when I first got in construction, it was 1998, and I was like the only guy that I knew. And when I would tell people about it, they like, man, ain't no such thing as trades and ain't no money. I'm like, nah, it's money, and you just got to pass some tests and deal with some racism, but it's some money out there. And it was like, compared to people I knew that was going to college at the time, to me, you made out better going into the trades.
Absolutely.
Especially if you didn't love, you didn't love what you were doing. So like, if you were going to school to be an engineer, you was a designer, if you was something that was, you were really going to put your heart and soul in and didn't care how much money you was going to make, then college was for you. But if you was like a person that's like, I'm going to college because I want to make X, Y, Z amount of money, I ain't going to lie to you. The people I seen that go into the trade unions made way more money. Like their money, they like 10X, and they didn't never have the student debt. So when I walked in that job at Citizens Bank, it was like I said, it was like one of the best feelings I ever had, because I'm like, damn, guys I know, they getting paper, they getting money. I'm like, I'm happy because I know like now you're in these trade unions, you live a different life. And this is pre-2008. So we fast forward, because it was 2004. My last time I worked as a laborer was 2004. Definitely wasn't 2006. So 2004. The thing was, I knew I was making my way out of the trades, because I was probably in what they call the worst trade as a laborer. But when I was in there, I was studying how construction goes. And I was like, I'm gonna get my own company. I ain't gonna stay here too much longer.
332?
Yeah, I was in 332. And I'm still in it to this day, but I was in there studying how jobs start, how they end, how everybody if that's why now even when I hire contractors, I never get one contractor to do the whole job unless I own that construction company.
Gotcha.
So like now, so that being in the trades is what taught me. So as being a laborer, when they say dumb laborers, all you do is push your broom and shit like that, I let them talk all that shit because I knew I had more money than most of the people talking shit. So I would be in there and I would just study. I was really studying the superintendents, and I would see how they would run the jobs, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you run it. Okay, so if you get this guy to come in and do this, you bring this guy and do this, because you don't want the one guy doing everything, because he'll slow you down, or he won't do it adequately.
So all about scheduling.
Yeah, and he'll burn out. He'll do. So when I was in there, I was studying, and as I studied, I learned construction from the bottom up, and I was like, okay, boom. And then, like I said, my brother was an electrician, so me and him always talked about, how to do that shit. You was in that. My cousin was a carpenter. He was in there. He was in there at that time. It was crazy. It was so many of us. But as everybody was coming in, I was on my way out. I was like, nah, I'm doing my own. I got a scab company. I'm going to get my scab company on. I can't afford these union wages. So it's funny, like that was a good time in my head personally. I was like, damn, like these guys will be able to take care of their family for the rest of their life, right? And that's what I'm thinking, seeing it, because I never knew that around the corner, 4 years later, we were going to go into a recession, and then that shit would freeze the whole business. So that's just something for y'all to see. So that was my first time experiencing a recession.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah, and it was the first time I ever felt what everybody's going through now, inflation, because I had my own company. And I'm going to say around the Gulf War time, maybe 2004 to 2006 is when gas started to itch up. And I felt it because one day I go to the store, sheetrock $6. Come back 6 months later, sheetrock now $10. So all through that time, where everybody going through, we kind of went through already. So like I got an idea how the next 4 years are going to be, and I'm studying the game. I'm like, okay, if I move this way, take small steps, I should be able to take it. So what I've learned going into this recession that we're going into is like take baby steps. So that's just something I just veered off on the side because I wanted to talk about when I seen all y'all inside union work, and I was so happy. Like I was like, damn, everybody here, that's what's up.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a good time. Like that was the first time I really seen black guys in the trades. Any other time I was on jobs, it was just white guys in the trades. I never seen, and most of them be second, third generation.
Four, six
exactly. You know what I mean? And then one of us get in there and they try to make it so hard for us to graduate out those programs that it fuck everything up. So that's another subject for another day. That'd be another pod we do one day about them damn trades. But it's still a good hustle.
A story in itself.
It is a good hustle. I still think it's a good hustle. It got some shit with it. But
if you take what you get from it, that's all. Like you said, and learn the game.
That's learn the game, definitely.
Learn the game and start your own stuff.
So now we fast forward. Let's fast forward to about two. So you got your oldest son, and he's starting to become more better at it. So did he go to AAU and stuff like that? He played on AAU teams.
Yeah, he started playing with travel teams. Probably when he was actually From the Aztecs, we realized they didn't have a basketball program.
Okay.
So we started the Aztecs basketball travel team.
So you were a part of that, the beginning.
I was the beginning of
You were
that.
the beginning of
Yeah,
that.
me
Okay.
and my man Kareem Hawkins, we started that, and Coach Antoinette, we started the travel back because we all met at Longcrest when our kids was playing up
When
there.
they was traveling and shit on 8
But
foot rims.
No. At that time, we noticed our kids were a little bit more advanced than a lot of the other kids. So we all got a rapport, and Coach Net, she played basketball at Hampton or Howard. I'm not sure, but one of those. Coach Net played basketball, so she knew about AAU and travel basketball.
Okay.
So we took the Aztecs name and started our own travel basketball team. That's how we got introduced into AAU.
Okay.
Through Coach Net and RIP Coach Paul. He started Corey Irvin All Stars, and that introduced us into travel basketball to realize how broad and big that this basketball thing really went, because we was just, my thing, I was just, like I said, I was just thinking rec ball, like, and when I got introduced to travel ball, that was just, you know what I mean, that's
a different world.
That's a whole different league, you know what I mean. Well, especially back then, well, it's way bigger now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's way bigger now, but just travel ball in itself is big money. It's a business.
It's a business.
You know what I mean? And
sponsors and all that type of thing.
Well, as the older kids, when you started getting them Nike, you start getting sneaker companies involved with it, with Nike and all of that stuff. Yeah, that just,
I think it different.
That just took off, like, you know what I mean?
Okay. And when it stops, did it start to become cutthroat when you went to travel?
Well, no, because we was more like, to the AAU world, we was more of a mom and pop organization, is what they would call it. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, we would go travel, we would go to nationals in Florida and everything, and they were like Aztecs, like, ain't y'all football?
Ain't y'all football?
Like, you know what I mean? That was the running joke. Like, oh no, y'all football kids, y'all football kids.
So y'all was like Penn State basketball team. Like, everybody talk about Penn State football, but they don't talk about Penn State basketball team.
Yeah, no, we might have been like Penn State Abington. You know what I mean? We might have been like Penn State Abington, to be honest with you. But we did it all. We did it all for the muscle. No sponsors, no nothing. We ain't had nobody backing us. It was just like, we had good parents and we had good kids. You know what I mean? And so that's where we start with one team with our kids age group, and then from there we would get, you know what I mean, the following year, and then we got an age group under them or something. You know what I mean? That's how it went for a while. But we was the Aztecs, but it was like the Aztecs as a football organization
was something.
Was like a machine. Yeah. It was like a machine, and we wasn't getting that backing, or we just didn't understand the inner workings of everything and how it go. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was the first time really doing it.
Absolutely, but we did it all from the muscle. Like, this is how much a tournament costs. We got 10 kids on the joint. We going to split, divided by 10. You know what I mean? So that's the way we went. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right. So then we go into it. So now the basketball teams are starting to, y'all traveling, y'all playing. Now, what's like the average lineage of one of these kids? They come to you at what age? What age does when you're doing these youth sports? What age do you?
Well, like I said, we probably started that at. We might have started the Aztecs travel ball at maybe at 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
We might have had them kids till they probably was maybe 4th, 5th grade until. But what happens is when you start an organization. Mm-hmm. It's great and it's cool as long as everybody's happy, but now you start getting people, oh no, come play over here. So
now people trying to poach your kids.
You know what I mean? And you got a good, we had a great core. Our core kind of stuck together their whole up till middle school.
So they went from about 10 years old to 14?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so
you know what I mean? They all kind of, our core, but you know, the role players came and went, like, oh, I ain't getting enough playing time. I'm gonna go play over here. You know how they go. Or you get the parent who
think kid is better than everybody.
Come learn what you know and be like,
start his own team.
I'm gonna go start my own. Yeah, absolutely. So you get that end of it. You know what I mean? Which still goes on today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes on today. That's why you got so many football teams and basketball teams popping up.
It wasn't a lot back in the day when I was growing up. It was probably
never.
Like
it was just it was neighborhood teams. It was neighborhoods. That's what it was. You know what I mean? It was neighborhoods. But now you got all types of teams coming out of every block. You know what I mean? So that's and what that does is only water the game down. You know what I mean? Because now you got all these people and more than half of them not even competitive. You know what I mean?
So your kids at 14, they usually leave y'all and go off into high school and do the thing.
What I've learned through my 20 plus years of doing it is it's like we was doing it for fun. You know what I mean?
But it's really a
as the kids get older, now they 14, you about to go into high school. So now that's when kids start thinking about scholarships.
Yeah.
Now you got these rankings coming out. Oh, this kid is ranked this kid is, I'm talking about these national rankings, which is almost impossible to have a national rank.
Yeah,
who's seeing all of these kids?
yeah.
Nope, it's impossible. And like I said, this is going on in every city in the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So who's seeing all of these kids to rank? So it's all about playing in certain tournaments, knowing certain people. That's all. That's what it's really all about at that point.
It becomes big business.
It's big. That's what I see. You got to think. A tournament might have 80 teams. We in middle school now. So let's say middle school. You might have a tournament 6th through 8th grade. So that's 3 grades. They might even go 4th to 8th grade. You might have 80 teams. $350 a team.
Big business.
You do the math. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's not including the other sponsors.
$350 a team. Now, and you talk about you traveling. You traveling to get there. You know what I'm saying? So, and then now you competing. Now, like I said, we a mom and pop organization. So now you're competing with the NBA guys who done started a program.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They start a program and they getting sponsored by a shoe company
and they
or
got
something
their
like
own
that.
money and their own connections.
And they got their own money and their own connections.
Yeah.
So they gonna get the top of the line kids.
Yeah, want to come play.
First and foremost, they got the best uniforms. They got the best.
The best
they got the
sneakers.
best everything. They get all the gear. This AI popping. You get the arm sleeves. You got. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, and that's what you compete with. So that's what it was. Like parents would be like, "Oh no, we going over here." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid ain't playing that much over here anyway. We gonna go over here. So but then it kind of messes the game up because now you got the top of the top teams are the most competitive teams because they got a name connected to them. We Team Mellow.
I mean, it's like college sports. There's no difference. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, this.
Yep.
So have some of your kids that you've coached up over the years, especially in the first generation of them. Did some of them go away to college? Did some of them go to the NBA? What happened with some of them?
A lot of them, I'll say more than half, definitely goes on to play college ball. But in between middle school and high school, you got like as I was saying when I was younger, you start coming into your own. And you ain't really thinking about sports. It's almost like, all right, no, or I'm a be halfway in sports and I'm gonna be halfway over here doing my own thing. You know what I mean? And them worlds, once them worlds.
So did any of your players wind up like on State Road too?
I can't think of nobody offhand, but I know there was definitely some arrests involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as
not
like,
State Road, but I'm just saying.
Like as far as major crime, I can't say they committed any major crime, but they became part of the system.
Part of the system. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got some guys who just getting into high school because I know both of my sons lost a bunch of pairs.
Okay.
To the streets or just the BS or you know what I mean, just stuff like that. So it's almost like, death in jail becomes a part of it once they become.
So the spectrum of youth sports
in high school.
The spectrum of youth sports could be as low as life in prison or death, as high as the NBA or the NFL.
Absolutely,
that's the spectrum.
Absolutely.
And anything in between there, whether it's
and this going on all across the country. You know what I mean? This goes back on. It's to your focus, your surroundings, the way you was raised, is everything. Like you got to be, you know what I mean. Like when you got like when we just talking about the trades, and you got them 3, 4 generation families. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's a little bit different for them. And it's the same thing with sports. If you got generational families who've been in this professional sports. They dad played Division 1, the older brother played, you know what I mean? Now you get onto so he kind of.
So you look at Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry. I mean, LeBron is probably an anomaly. I don't think he had nobody in his life.
LeBron was just. But you always get them. You always get them.
You got like a
once in a
generation. Even Mike, I don't think Mike parents played. But if you look at like a Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, you look at Klay Thompson. There's so many players who parents played, and there's a lot of people who parents played that we kind of even forget about. You know what I mean? Especially like it's almost like if your pop was average, which means he had time to be with his son. He usually bring his son up. Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson was an average, but kind of below average, depending on who you ask. You know what I mean?
But he still made it to the league.
Hey, listen, he was there for 10 years.
Yeah,
you know
he still made it to the league.
And now you see his son just signed a $100 million contract with the Knicks. So it is a thing like where you learn the game, you learn the discipline of the game, and you're able to get that to your son. So right now we want to bring your son on here now. We can talk to him about youth sports.
Pioneer Elite Care is committed to treating each individual with dignity and respect. We take pride in providing quality care to those who require assistance at home. Contact us now.
Excellence is our standard. Excellence is the rule. Never the exception.
PioneerEliteCare.com.
So now we get to bring in one of the best things I like to do with these is when we get a chance to mix the youth with the old people, because the youth see things different from us. We may see at a 180-degree angle, they may see it at a 90-degree angle, they may see it at a 270 angle. So I got the great Chauncey Presley here, 1S also, and we're going to talk about his journey in youth sports. So from my understanding, your brother played sports and your older brother played, so you kind of grew up watching him.
Yeah.
And I guess I know I had an older brother. Whatever my older brother was doing, I felt as though not only could I do it, I was better than him. That was just me.
Right.
So let me see what made you get into sports. It was because your brother played.
Yeah, like I just everything my brother wanted to do, I always wanted to do. Like ever since I was young, like every tournament, every game, like I'm running on the court at halftime. I'm in the huddle, like I'm hyping them up.
You in the huddle when
you're playing? I'm just being around, like.
Okay.
And then like from that, I always wanted to do that. Like,
okay.
I always just wanted to be able to do the things that he was doing, and that I was coming up watching him do.
Okay. Now, when did you realize that you were starting to get good in the game?
I knew I like that I can play, or like I'm actually good, like to do something.
Yeah, like all right. So like when I first started, I was horrible with sports all my life. Right. I could never do a layup for some reason. My brain, I'm retarded. I could never do this. I could never do it. But and my brother was left-handed, so he could always go like that. But I could never do. Yeah, so I could never do this. So by the time I got to be 14, I kind of went to security. So what I mean by security is that when my brother would play ball, I would be the one on the sidelines, making sure that if he bust somebody's ass, we wouldn't have no problems when we get off the court. That's how intense basketball was for us when we were younger. It'd be intense. So, but I wasn't good, so I sacrificed my career to go to security. Right. But when did you realize, like, no, I'm good? Like, you know what? Hey, bro, I might be better than you. Did you ever beat your brother?
Nah.
Oh, damn. Never beat him.
I feel like I realized like I really was good when I was like 12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like 12. I'm like, it's like I can do this. Like,
okay.
I knew like, cause growing up it was like when I was like 8, 9, 10. It was like people was better than me. Like, you feel me? Like a lot of people was better than me. But like by the time I got like 12, 13, I'm looking at it like all the people that was better than me when I was 8. Now it's like I'm killing these dudes, so it's like I can do it. I know I can do it now.
Okay. So it was a time like when I was younger and you'd be playing, like, so when you was playing with the kid court, you was on a kid court. But it'd be sometimes when like the old heads start to notice you, they'd be like, yo, you're gonna start coming over here with us.
Right.
And it's like getting drafted. It's like your first time getting drafted. I don't know how it is for your generation.
Rite of passage.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh shit, I made it to the old head court. I never made it to the old head court. I remember when my brother got drafted. When he got drafted to the old head court, that's when I retired.
Time out. It was a little bit different for them. They ain't really play on the playground.
Oh, they ain't playing playground. Okay,
Yeah,
y'all was
they
also
ain't really
organized.
play on the
Y'all
playground.
guys more organized sports.
I ain't never really like
I'm gonna say
playing that part.
probably when he played in the Chosen League, probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
So-
That's kind of
So when the chosen league was
Yeah,
up.
I was in like 6th grade, my first year playing in the Chosen League. I think I
It was like 7th, 8th,
sixth,
maybe
7th
8th
It
grade.
was 6th grade actually. 7th grade, no, 7th
It's
grade.
your story.
It was 7th grade. My
Why you
first,
hating? Yo, old ass hating niggas. Go ahead.
my
So
first
7th grade,
year,
you made
yeah,
the
like,
chosen league.
my first
Ninth-
year playing in the
90th
Chosen
degree.
League, I was in like 6th, 7th grade.
Now, did you get any tick when you played
Yeah,
the chosen
like,
league?
I really was playing.
Oh, you was busting ass.
I scored a couple times, but it's like for me to even be in 7th grade playing in the Chosen League, like that's a big thing. Like
That was major.
people don't really play in the Chosen League, even 9th graders, 10th graders. Like it was always for like the more advanced, like
10th,
upperclassmen,
11th,
yeah,
11th,
the advanced upperclassmen. Like I'm out here playing with these guys, like so. That's when I realized, like, all right, like people, like the older people, like they noticing me coming up after them.
Okay. And at this time, your brother had already blazed the trail.
Yeah, he was in college already.
Okay, he was in college at this time, and now you coming up like, man, I'm gonna make my name known.
Yeah,
Okay. And like, what position do you play?
point guard.
Point guard. Now, point guard, you like the captain. You kind of know everything that's going on. What type of point guard? Are you like a Chris Paul? Or you like Allen Iverson? Because the guards are different nowadays.
I could be both.
Both.
Like,
Okay, so you
but-
like Andre Miller. If whoever that is, you don't mess with that.
But like I'm like both though. Like it depends on where I'm playing at or my role on the team. Like the talent or like just the level I'm playing at. Like for one team, it might be my role to go be Allen Iverson. But then like for my school team, for example, like I could just be Chris Paul. Like just set everybody up. Stuff like that.
Okay. So when you're the point guard, it's very cerebral. So like, what you have good leadership skills then?
Yeah.
You know how to be vocal and tell people like, hey, yo, get your ass over there and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And out of basketball at this point, how old are you now?
18.
18. What do you want out of basketball at this point in your life?
I just want to be able to play college basketball for free.
Go to college for free because of basketball. Okay. And let's say you get on the team, but let's say you have to be a walk-on and you gotta work your way up to that point. Are you willing to put in the work for that?
I mean, nah.
Nah.
I'm gonna keep nah. Like
It's either all or none.
Yeah,
huh?
like I put too much like time in. Like this.
Oh shit,
like,
you
this,
put
like,
too much time in.
It's like this. Like my dad told you. Like we never really did nothing else but like play
Play ball.
sports.
Mhm.
Like so, it'd be a waste for me to go try to be a walk-on or somewhere when I've been playing basketball like for my whole life.
So on this hand, you tell me it's a waste, right?
Yeah.
To try to walk on. And then you would tell me all these years of basketball don't even count no more.
Right.
So then you just threw it away.
I just feel like I don't
so,
know. It's just me.
I'm just saying. So what I'm
Like,
saying is, so what you're saying is, all these years of sports that you put in, you're gonna stop right here because of somebody's opinion. Somebody didn't notice how great you are, and you're just gonna throw it all away. So then when you're sitting around at 25, you say, "I was the man, but nobody noticed me."
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's some of the different angles of how we look at life. I'm never right. I'm just old, man. So I seen things different. So like you ever look at the Pat Beverly story? You ever heard of Pat Bev? I know you know Pat Bev, but you know his story?
Yeah, like he was like homeless and all that, and like he went to like a JUCO or something.
He got drafted, right? He went to JUCO, whatever he got. I can't remember exactly the college situation, right? But he went to go play overseas because he was like, he said he made up his mind, like, you know what? If I ain't gonna make it in the NBA, fuck it, I'm gonna just go overseas and be the best overseas player. Signed a contract that made some money for him, right? But when he signed the contract, and I hope I'm saying this story right, he signed the contract, and it was for I guess like a million. And at the time, NBA and overseas had a agreement that the NBA couldn't buy you out of your overseas contract past $250,000. So he was on the hook for the other $750,000. So, or maybe it's 1.2 million he signed for over there, and the NBA only paid the 0.2. So now him and his mom talked to the agent, and they didn't know, and they thought that the NBA would pay the other $1 million. But what wound up happening is him and his mom was on the hook for the $1 million, and before he could play in the league, they had to pay $1 million. And he like, look, and I'm not even a starter. Pat Bev didn't come in as a starter. He said he had a choice of 2 teams. One was I can't remember. The other one was Houston with Jeremy Lin, and he was like, well, shit, I could take Jeremy Lin's job. That's how he looked at it. I could take his job. And like what I'm saying with you got all these years of basketball. You can get to a university, and you can see a Vic. You can see a guy who's a Jeremy Lin, for lack of a better word. You can see a guy who happened to just get it. He might have got it because of the connections. He may have got it because of all other things. But you coming here with the eye of the tiger, you may have the frustration and anger to take his spot. Because at the end of the day, this is a competitive game where you gotta be willing to hunt sometimes and take somebody out. Like, you know, if you out and you hunting, the deer ain't gonna just walk up to you like, hey, Chauncey, come shoot me today. You gotta get that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? If you look in the jungle, the motherfucker don't walk up to the lion like, hey, how you doing today? Like, no, he see you and he gotta go get you, cause he gotta eat.
Right.
So that's how you gotta look at it. Like, yeah, you do have your father helped give you the foundation. Your father and your brother, or you know, whatever, however y'all did it, you have the foundation. You have the tools. You have the tools to go be a hunter. But what you saying is that, nah, this shit gotta come to me. This ain't fishing.
Right.
No, baby, this ain't fishing. No, this ain't no hook out. You know what I mean? Sometimes, even if you look at the story of the guy from the Pelicans, the boy that shoot the jump shots, used to play for Portland. Now he with the Pelicans. Now, what the hell is his name? God damn it. You guys don't like basketball. He was with Portland with with Damian Lillard. He was the number 2. So you got Damian.
McCollum?
CJ McCollum. Okay. His story, he went to like Lehigh University or some shit like that. He went to like whack ass school, you know what I'm saying? But he was busting ass. I think he gave him like a 60 in a tournament or some crazy shit. And he wasn't on nobody's draft board most of his career. But when he started busting ass, when he got on the bigger stage, people started looking at him like, damn. See, like the thing about being old, I see graveyards. I talk about graveyards all the time. You got graveyards in sports, you got graveyards in music, you got graveyards in fashion, you got graveyards in most people that were dreamers, whose dreams died. Sometimes your dream died. It's just sometimes you didn't have the luck. Like, your pop talk about sometimes it's luck, but sometimes with the dreams, you kill your own dreams because you couldn't be humble and say, you know what, I'm taking it back to when I was little Chauncey jumping in my brother huddles, hyping him up. Sometimes it's the little shit that gets you to the next level. So, we all got egos, and it's like, nah, motherfucker, I bust his ass. I know him better. Sometimes you could be somewhere with just a shitty coach who don't like you. I've seen when I was in college, I was only in college for a year, it was a guy who was pretty good. He was damn good at basketball, but he was in D2. And he was a hell of a player, but he wasn't in the system to get him out. What he decided to do was he stopped going to class and declared for the draft like in 10th grade. In his sophomore year, and the shit didn't work at all. It didn't work at all. And then when he didn't do that, he wound up hustling T-shirts in Baltimore, selling T-shirts and shit like that. So what I'm saying is that, like, sometimes you gotta like get the grit. Sometimes you gotta come back down a couple levels to go up 10. And even if at worst case scenario you don't get what you want out of it, you can always get something good out the deal. So they say aim for the stars. If you don't make it, you still be with the moon or some shit. Aim with the moon. Aim for the moon. You be with the stars. Some cool shit like that. Whatever that bullshit saying is. No matter what, you ain't gonna be down in the grass playing shit. Right. So I just want you to remember that, like, when you're going into this journey of life of being a grown man in this basketball world, like, you can, you obviously got skills. Make the skills, get something out of it. Don't just throw it all away. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, and this is just from me being around you and your pop talking today. I'm just saying, like, you seem like you got a head on your shoulders. You ain't scared to talk. Like, make this basketball give you a ROI, a return on investment. Just don't throw it away. You know what I mean? The trophies get old after a while, play. So at least you got a tool right now that can change your life. Right. Don't let the fact that nobody noticed how cool your sneakers was that day stop you from being your best. You know what I'm saying? It's hundreds of colleges, man. There's plenty of ways to go. And everybody wasn't in that top 50. And every year you see top 50s come out, and those same dudes that were supposed to be the shit, a lot of them don't make it. So don't let that deter you, man. Like, make basketball give you back something. But in the day, you know, if it's going to be a free education, if it's going to be an education where you had to walk on and, all right, I'm going to bust this in my ass and they're going to give me this scholarship. I'm going to take this bull scholarship. You might got to do it that way. You might got to get it out the mud. But I seem like you got a lot of talent, man, so don't let it stop there. What's some of the great things you've seen, though, through playing basketball?
Like since I was a baby.
Well, just, you know, and I mean, you can say since you've been a teenager.
Since I've been a teenager, just been like seeing like other people I've been playing with since I was like a kid. Just seeing like how far we came. Like, it's a lot of people that I was on the same team with, like that's in the NBA now, or just going like to them high major D1 schools. Like, and it's like I really know these guys. Like, I've been on the same court, slept in the same bed, ate the same meals with these people. Like,
Pause when I slept in the same bed.
but it's like I really know, like I really got relationships with these people, and it's just good to see like the people around you like doing better than you in life.
Yeah, well, everybody got their time though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your time is coming around the corner, right? You're a senior this year, right?
Yeah.
So your time is coming around the corner. Like it's not really about like who's ahead of who, because this shit's a marathon. Believe me when I tell you this shit's a marathon. I've fell to the bottom a couple times in life and had to come back up. And some people were still there when I got there, and some people was on their way back down. I was just like, hey, yo, I see you when you get back up. You know what I mean? It happens. Like, never be that guy thinking in his head, like, I'm going to miss my time, because all you got is time till you don't got no more time. You know what I'm saying? So never get excited about, God damn it, they ahead of me. What the fuck is my time? Just be patient and always work hard. And that should work itself out. It may not be the exact thing you want, but it'll be something that you can definitely use. It'll be something that definitely go in your favor. I don't think a lot of people tell these young people that, like, they be thinking like, oh, it's either all or nothing. It's not really all or nothing in life. It's really like, hey, here's the pie right here.
Something better than nothing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then off that something, you can build some more and some more. So there's never no telling where you're going to land at in this thing. So I don't sell yourself short, man.
Right.
You know, you got all these years in, like, maximize it. And if you fuck up trying, then fuck it. It happens.
You tried.
You know what I mean? You try, so you can't. You won't be 25 years old on the corner begging for a beer or $1. You know what I'm saying? Like this, my dad used to tell me, like, man, you keep fucking up the way you keep doing, Sharif, you're gonna be out here selling newspapers. Well, newspapers, they don't make them no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now the guys who will be selling newspapers just beg for the $1 now. So it's a thing, you know. Don't give up on your dreams so easily. You know what I'm saying? You got the skills, put them to work.
I appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah, so this was a good interview, man. You probably like the first young person that wasn't scared to come on here and get on the camera. Usually if they hear, they'd be hiding behind you like, I ain't talking. So that's good, man. Some questions for Wonder. What type of music you listen to right now?
Like rap.
Come on,
Little Baby.
yeah, there you go, Little Baby.
Little Dirk.
You ain't drilling with the stickies and all that? You ain't doing all that stuff? None of that? You got the hairdo of one of them dudes, man. I don't know, man.
I think I'm raising over here, man.
Nah, them little, they all do that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they all do that now.
What do you call it? What they call it, the sturdy dudes?
I don't know.
I
don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Yeah. But so you fucking with Lil Baby?
Yeah.
Who else you say? You said Lil Baby, Lil
Lil
Durk. Okay. You ain't NBA young boy.
Listen to Philly dudes. Don't act like you don't listen.
I listen to a lot of I listen to my homies for real. Like, a lot of my friends rap. Like, so I listen to like a lot of my friends.
And that's like your inspiration. So when you go on the court, that's what you got playing before you start shooting?
Yeah, that's what I listen to a lot. Like,
okay.
I like listening to people that I know.
Okay. That's good shit, man. That's good shit. So, player, being a man who raised two young men playing basketball, you feel like the journey that you started 20 years ago has come full circle?
For what I've started it for, yes. Like,
yeah. So you was able to raise two young men?
Two young men, got their head on straight, don't get into trouble, you know what I mean? One has a degree. One can get a degree if he chooses to get a degree, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I did a pretty good job, you know what I mean?
Okay. So the sports, so just trying to keep your kids out of trouble
That's how it all started. That's how it all started.
Trouble took you on a journey, a 20-year journey.
And kept me out of trouble too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At the same time, it was a win-win for all of us. You know what I mean?
It's good, man. So we want to wrap with telling everybody, man, thank y'all for listening. These are the Presleys with one S. But I like to say the Presleys with one E, as I messed up like 30 times. I want to thank y'all for coming out and giving me your time.
Yo.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time for y'all. And again, it's probably one of many we're going to talk with the youth about sports. It'll probably be a bigger venue next time, but this is just the beginning. Thank you so much. This is Sharif Hankins for Just Conversations, No Interviews.